everybody, how you doing? Are you doing all right? I'm so glad to hear it. Hey, I've been very impressed with some of the photos that I've had back from you. Jasmine and Vida in particular, well done for doing your shape hunt. Jasmine found some really interesting triangles, didn't you, sweetheart? Really interesting. I didn't know there was a triangle in the middle of Asda. That was fascinating for me. And Vida, your circles that you found all over your house were just brilliant. So well done, guys, and well done to the rest of you for trying with your maths work. It does make me so proud when you send me that work. All right. Now, are we ready to get cracking today? We're still carrying on with shape, but we're going to be looking a little bit different at slightly different ones today. So magic maths glasses at the ready, I think. I've got mine. Let's let that magic begin so that Mrs Bowen's brain will still keep working. Okay, here we go. There we go. They're all on. You'll see today I've got my little tray, my little chopping board it is really, but because it's red I know you can see it very clearly. Little tray. That's going to suggest to you that I'm going to put some things on for us to do some counting. I've got my easel here with my pad so I can do some work for you to see, do some writing for you to see. I've got a few things on the floor. I've got some things I'm going to teach you today and explain to you. Okie dokie, so I hope you're ready with your brains all in good and working order. Here goes then. So, today's shapes that we're going to learn about are called three-dimensional. Three-dimensional shapes. And what that basically means is it's something that you can hold, or it's a solid shape. It's not a flat shape. Like this piece of paper is very flat and the drawing on it is flat. A 3D shape is something really that you can hold. Okay, something that you can get your hands around, like my clock. It's something that's solid and it's something that's got depth, what they say. That's what they say, but if you can hold it, then you know it's a 3D shape. All right. Another thing I'm going to teach you today is the way that we can record the shapes that we find. Now, what we've been learning about when we've done a lot of focus on numbers is we've been learning different ways of recording numbers, haven't we? We've been learning about numerals like 1 and 2, oopsie, pen's not working there, and 3 and 4. So when we write numbers down, we know that they're called numerals. We've also been learning a lot about dice patterns, haven't we? That when we see the number of something in a pattern like that, we know that that is 5, and we're getting used to those kinds of patterns that we see, aren't we? Yeah? So we've been learning different ways of recording. We've also learned a little bit about sums. So I'm just going to turn that around a bit. It's a bit difficult to write like that. So if we put something like 2 add 1 equals 3. So we've been learning about that's called a sum. It's the way that we write it down to show that we're adding something together. Or, just like what I saw with Vida's work, if we were using the take away sign instead, we might say 5 take away 1 equals 4. Yeah, it's still a sum. It's still a different way of writing down the mathematical things that we've worked out. Okay, that makes sense. So, if I put some beans on my board, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can record that 5 in many different ways. I can record it like this. I can record it like this. I can record it like this. 2, 3, 4, 5. I can record it like this. 4 take away 1. Oh, silly old me. 4 add 1. Or 6 take away 1. There are lots of different ways that I can record 5. But I'm going to teach you a new way this morning that's called tallying. Now I'm just going to take that sheet off and put that one underneath so we can still see it if we need to. But today, just going to look at something quickly first. Before we look at our shapes, we're going to look at something called tally. Tally. And it's a different way of recording our numbers, and we do it with sticks that we draw from top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom. Okay? However, there is a different way of recording 5. So just watch how I record. That means just write down my numbers using the tally system. 1 bean becomes 1 stick. 2 beans become 2 sticks. 3 beans, are you seeing the pattern? Become 3 sticks. What do you think comes next? 4 beans, yeah, becomes, you've got it, 4 sticks. But here comes the clever bit. You might be thinking, well, Mrs Bowen, it's obvious. Number 5 bean is going to go just there, 5 sticks. But that's not right. When it comes to tallying, number 5 bean, or whatever you're counting, maybe it's 5 socks, maybe it's 5 sweets, maybe it's 5 ladybirds, it could be anything. But when you get to 5, you have to put a line across the middle, just like that. Doesn't matter if it looks a bit straight, like that, that is still a tally as well, yeah? But that's the way it works. And you know, I find that the way I can remember how to do it is almost by using my body as well, physically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you use your fingers and remind your brain that you come down, 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 down and across, you never get it wrong. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. And here's the clever thing. So that's what 5 looks like. But when you've got 6, again, you don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, no, 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 you don't do that. You keep your 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you do 1 more. 5 and 1 is 6. And then 7, 8, 9, 10. The number or the symbol in tally only changes every time you get to another lot of 10. So, sorry, another lot of 5. So it changes at 5 and it changes at 10. And then after, so this is 10 because you've got 5, add 5. So that's 10 all together, yeah? 2 lots of that symbol, 2 of those is 10. And then it'll change again at 15. So we'd have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, because there's another 5. And then it would change again at 20. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 equals 20. I don't want you to worry too much about adding today. I want you to just have a practice at using your tallying. all right, because that's the method, that's what we're going to use today to record the shapes that we find in our houses. And I'll show you how to do that very, very soon. Let's just take this off as well. Put that down there so that you can still see it, hopefully. Right, on to today's challenge then, really. So, do you remember when we were looking at the shapes before? We looked at those flat shapes, didn't we? We looked at circles. So we looked at circles, we looked at triangles. Mrs Hopper asked you to look for rectangles, didn't she? This would be a good rectangle with its 2 long sides and its 2 short sides. So you were hunting for rectangles, hunting for circles and hunting for triangles. Now, today we're going to look at 3-dimensional shapes, as I've just shown you, things that you can hold or things that you can see have got shape to them and they are solid. So they might be big, they might be as big as a washing machine, can't hold that, can you? But they might be as small as my little clock, but they are 3-dimensional because they are solid and they have sides to them that you can put your hands on. Yeah? Let's have a look. This one is a cube, and this one sort of comes from the square shape. It has squares on each side. They're called its faces, but it's a cube. It's a cube. The next one I'm going to show you today is a cylinder. It's a cylinder. In my family, we've got an Alexa, and she looks just like this. When we say, Alexa, what time is it? And Alexa, put on some music. That's what it looks like sitting on the windowsill. It's a cylinder, and it's got a circle at the top, and it will have a circle at the bottom, but it's got that wraparound shape that you can hug and hold. It's a cylinder. Okay, here's another one that on a flat piece of paper just looks like a circle, but when it becomes a 3D shape, it's like a ball. It's called a sphere, and you can hold it in your hands. It's a sphere. This one is called a cuboid, and this is really what a rectangle looks like when it becomes a solid shape. You've still got those long sides and short sides, but it's become a bit more like a box, hasn't it? It's a cuboid. Not like the cube, because the cube has to be square, but a cuboid is more like a rectangle. And then we've got a pyramid. So those of you that have been looking for triangles, you'll see those triangles straight away. And that's right, because a pyramid has got triangles on the sides, but quite often it's got a square at the bottom. And there's a pyramid. Here's another one that's a quick, tricky one. Looks a bit like a tent, doesn't it? It's a triangular prism. So that is another one. The difference with a pyramid is that this one only has 3 sides to it. 3 faces that you can touch. And the last one is a cone. A bit like a hat. Pointy hat for a wizard. It's a cone. It'll have a circle at the bottom, but it's like a, it's kind of like a funny triangle shape that sticks to the top, isn't it? It's a funny one, a cone, really. You can have it that way round as well. That's why they call it an ice cream cone. It's a cone. So they are the shapes that we're going to try and have a look for in our houses. Now, I'm not going around with my camera to do it today. I've actually got a little collection of things that I found that I'll show you, and we'll try and match them up with the right shapes. So I'm going to put that up there because we will use that in a minute, and I might get the board a bit closer to the camera so that you can really see that sheet. Because when I was looking around my house, I was trying to look for the shapes on here. It says use a tally to count the shapes you see. So I've got to think back to what I showed you here about using the sticks to record what I found in my house. So here's the objects that I found. Lots and lots of different things. This is actually had a bottle in it. It's the cardboard covering, packaging that the bottle came in. I've got a ball. Shown you my clock already. I've got my clock there. I've got a Rubik's Cube. Some of you might have one of these. A Rubik's Cube. Oh, I've got a ahoy there. A big tube, like a telescope. Oh, this is a basket that sits in my bathroom that has things inside. Thought that was an interesting shape. I've got a box that's had some tea bags in. I've got another box that's had some cereal in. Oh, Mr Bowen's deodorant. I think this is an empty one. What else have I got? Oh, and this lives in my son's bedroom. This is a globe. This is a globe. So these were the things I found that were quite interesting, but I need to look and see what shapes I think they are, and you might need to help me. So, looking at the cards that we've had, I'm going to show you two cards and see if you can help me identify which shape you think. So here we go. Here's the object. Have a look at it. Look at it carefully. Do you think it's a cone, or do you think it's a cylinder? I think it's a cylinder, don't you? It's got that round circle shape at the bottom, but it's got that wrap around there. It's a tube, isn't it? It's a tube shape. It's a cylinder. So I'm going to look on my list and I'm going to find the cylinder. There it is, just there. And I'm going to put in one stick because I've definitely found one cylinder. And I'm going to put that over there. But what about this one? Good telescope. But it's a solid 3D shape. What shape is it? Do you think that could be a cylinder as well? I think it could be, couldn't it? It's got that circle at the bottom. Just because it isn't, you know, filled in, it's not got a lid, it is still a cylinder. Circle shape there, and that wrap around that we can feel all the way around. It's another cylinder. So I'm going to put another mark here. Okay. Ooh. Oh, I didn't see I've got another tube down here as well. So I better put that in my grid, because that's another cylinder, isn't it? So how many cylinders have we got now in my house? Count them. 3, haven't we? Great. Let's have a look and see what else we've got. What about this one? Definitely a square. All the sides are the same. But remember, it's a solid shape now. We can see those sides and faces. So, is it? Do you think this is a triangular prism or is it a cube? You're right, it's a cube. It's got to be, hasn't it? I know it hasn't got the pattern on it, but look at that. It looks the same. It's a cube. It's a cube. So I'm looking on my list for cube. There it is, just here. And I've definitely got one cube. Let's put that on there. Put that over there. I wonder if I've got any more cubes in my collection. What about these two? Which one do you think might be the cube? It's not that one, is it? It's this one, isn't it? It's my clock. So there's another cube in Mrs Bowen's house. Right, any more cylinders, I wonder, in my collection on the floor? What about Mr Bowen's deodorant? Does that look like a cube? No, it's got a circle at the bottom. I can hold it. Do you think that's a cylinder? Yes, it is, isn't it? Another cylinder. Oh, getting close to that change in the tally. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. What's going to happen if I need another one? What will that look like? Let's have a look at these shapes and see if I've got any more cylinders. This one? Is that a cylinder? No. Ah, this one. This one. Yeah? This one. No. Oh. What about this one? What about the basket? It is bigger than the deodorant. But is it still the same? It's got that circle at the bottom. And that wrapping round. I can hold it. Think that's a cylinder? I think you're right. So here we go with my tally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cylinders in my house. Ooh. Now then, let's see if we've got any of those ones. Those round shapes, remember, it's not a circle, it's a sphere. It's like a ball shape. Let's see if we've got any of those. About that one. Is that a ball shape? Can I hold it like a ball? No. But I can this one, can't I? There we go. My tennis ball. That's a sphere. Definitely. So we can tick that one. One sphere. And what do you think about my son's globe? What do you think about that? It is really, isn't it? I can still get my hands round it. I can still roll it slightly, a bit like a ball. So it is a sphere shape. So the globe as well. So I'll put that there. Okay. So only 2 globes, 2 spheres, and only 2 cubes, but 5 cylinders. Now, let's make a decision of what we think these 2 things might be. They're not cubes, they're not cylinders, they're not spheres, and I don't think they're triangular prisms, because these shapes are not triangles, are they? We've got 2 long sides, 2 short sides. What could they be? Bit like a rectangle. And remember, when a rectangle becomes a 3D shape, it turns into a cuboid. They're cuboids. Big cereal box and my tea bag box. So I've got 2 cuboids. Here we go. 1, 2. And have I got anything else left in my collection? I don't think I have today. Oh, hang on. Found my box of tissues. Is that a cuboid? What do you think? I think those sides look like they might all be the same, which makes it a cube. It's a cube because it's like a square. All those sides are the same. So another cube. But Do you know Mrs Bowen didn't find any pyramids? No. I didn't find any triangular prisms. No. And I didn't find any cones either. I think they might be quite tricky shapes to find in a house. You might have better luck finding those outside. I don't know. I couldn't find any in my house, but you might find some in yours. So this is the sheet that I want you to use, and I want you to try with some help from your grown-up to record the things you find using the tally. So don't forget, if you find something where you've got 5 or more, you're going to have to learn, aren't you, to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across, just like that. Then there's a question at the bottom. It says, which shape did you see the most? So you can use my sheet today, because these are the things that I found in my house, aren't they? Which one did I see the most? That's right. The cylinders. I saw the most cylinders, didn't I? Now, I've got this pen that's a bit thick. I'm not going to try and write cylinder. I think I might try and just draw one. And you could do that if you want to, or you could try and write the word. It's up to you. Which shape did you see the least? Now that's a little word that's a bit like when I've talked to you about less. There are some shapes on here that I didn't see any of, aren't there? Did I see any pyramids? No. Did I see any triangular prisms? No. Did I see any cones? No. So I could draw all of those things, couldn't I? On there, if I want to, because I didn't see any of those at all. What a shame. But that's the way it goes. You might not see everything that's on the list, but you might do. Right, I am going to go now, everybody. I want you to have fun looking for your 3D shapes. And then there's one more thing that I really want you to try and do. And do you know, Divan's already started. He's got loads of them. I think at the beginning of the week, I asked Miss Holly as well to send out the message that could you start looking for boxes in your house, because we're going to use some of our 3D boxes and 3D materials like these to try and make a model on Thursday, because it's great to use 3D stuff to make something that you can actually use or hold or play with. Okay, so you get looking in your house for things that are different 3D shapes, and also see if you can get your grown-up to help save you some empty boxes, empty cartons, empty lids, any lids that you've got left over, bottle tops, anything like that. Get collecting them, and we'll see if we can do some box modelling with them. All right, everybody, happy hunting, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye for now.